What's up, y'all? Today I'm going to show you can take any melody that you have and add post effects to make it like drain gangy or sound like a Blade song. And so to start things out, you're going to want to be using any kind of melodic pluck or one-shot sound that you have. So I'm using one from Glitchy Bullshit Super here. And I've basically just written a melody where I'm using some slide notes and also some notes of different colors. So you can set up slides by turning this on, and the different colored notes are so that you can bend between different notes while not like bending all of the notes. And just write yourself a melody that you feel like works. So here's what this one sounds like without any post effects. Then you're going to want to go in and copy this melody over to a couple other layers. So you can kind of just clone your patch there. So here I have this one that's like a more percussive, plucky type sound that you don't even really get the slides on, but it adds a different tone to the transient. And then for the third one, I'm using a kalimba here. So here's my 3 different patches without any effects. And then we're going to add some post effects to these that do 3 different things. So for the pluckiest layer, this layer right here, I'm going to basically just EQ it a little bit and then add a reverb that is like kind of ginormous. So like 6 seconds of decay and full wetness. And so this one's going to give us like almost an ambient like tonal background layer for the entire melody to sit on top of. And then for the second layer, which is this kind of like more tonally interesting, almost like sine wavy one, I'm going to add this sketch cassette plugin, which basically just adds like an interesting kind of saturation and also a little bit of warble to the stereo. Then I'm going to follow that up with some more like really long reverb, but in this case I'm going to keep it mostly dry so that I just have like a pretty stable tonal center to my melody. Then for my third layer, I'm going to do a little bit more interesting of a thing. So I'm using the kalimba for this one. And for this one, I'm going to add a delay with a kind of long time, but it's going to be synced to a 6th note, which is a dotted half. And that's just going to like delay out and add these echoes. And then immediately after that, I'm going to add a volume shaper that just chops out the first note of each quarter note. And what that does is let me have like a little stab top on top of the melody that I've already written. So basically what that does is let me write chords without having to write chords, just by having the different delayed out melodies like layer on top of each other to create a new chord. Then I've just added a Valhalla room to give it a little space, a EQ to de-brighten it, and then some compression to just give it like some strength. Then I can layer that in with the other 2 sounds that I have going, and it just gives it like a more interesting, almost like tonal boppy type sound. Without like muddying it up with a bunch of delayed notes. Then lastly, I didn't do this in this particular example, but you could take them, bust them together, add more compression, throw an OTT on it, send it through saturation, whatever you want to do, EQ out the lows so you can fit in a 808 under it, and then make your own little drain gang type melodies. So in recap, so you know what to do when you go and do this in your DAW, add one melody that is super reverbed out to be like the backing layer, add a second melody that's like a little bit distorted but not too heavily as the main layer, and then you want a third layer that's almost like a rhythmic piece on top of it. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you got something out of that, and I will see y'all in the next one.